It's time for the 13 Days of Halloween movie on Fox Family.
Ooh, you think that sounds spooky? Just wait. In a moment, you'll be hearing the creepy, haunting, fun sounds of Halloween. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Count Chocula, and I love anything spooky. Now, grab a spoon, pour yourself a bowl, sit back, and try not to be too afraid, because the spooky sounds of Halloween are about to begin.
So why are we doing this?
So, growing up, we had this CD, and it had like a lot of weird Halloween-themed songs on it, and it was called 13 Days of Halloween, Rhythm and Booze, but nobody remembers the CD. Like, we remember it because we would listen to it going to school. Mom would play it in the car. But friends, colleagues, also family members, no one seemed to remember that the CD existed. In fact, the only person that remembered was our mom.
Can you tell me what this is?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Y'all are so stupid. It's spooky, it's spooky, it's spooky, it's spooky in here.
So, can you tell me what this CD is called?
No, I just remember it being, oh, wait. But it had to do with Count Chocula?
Yeah,
Is that right? I don't
the
even.
monster cereals that put this thing on. It's called The 13 Days of Halloween, Rhythm and Booze.
Rhythm and Booze, that's right, Rhythm and Booze. I forgot that. It brings back memories of y'all when you were little.
Yeah, we're gonna figure this out. All right.
What is wrong with y'all?
Other than that, nobody remembers that this CD was created. No one remembers, listening to it. No one knows what we're talking about. So we're kind of on this mission to kind of get to the bottom of it, but also preserve it because it's so weird and obscure.
So where are we going, Ryan?
We're going to the store. We're going to go see if they have the goods.
The goods.
The goods.
Is that a reference to something I know?
I hope not.
I got the goods.
I got the goods.
And you got it. Oh, funeral. It's not here.
It's not here.
Not here.
In 2001, General Mills released a CD attached to their Monster Cereals line. The CD was titled 13 Days of Halloween, Rhythm and Booze, and it included 9 tracks in total. The CD featured Count Chocula, the Baha Men, and Digimon, among other names. We really wanted to know where this CD came from. Why did they use all these seemingly disconnected properties to create a CD? We set out to find information on this.
Sometimes I drive around and I keep like a straight face, and people might think I'm not saying anything because I'm like, but what I'm really doing, I'm like, ah!
What interests you about the CD, particularly?
I think it's interesting just because it's so weird. Like, they have Count Chocula, the Baha Men, Angela Anaconda. Like, they put all these things onto a CD. It's just bizarre. It's very different.
Our search for information turned up with very little on the album. That is, until we found a documented list of credits attached to the project. We reached out to an insider on the CD. He told us that he had no memory of the project. He wanted us to send him our list of names. We did, and not even an hour later, he was back with information. He said he didn't remember working with most of the names listed. However, there were some he was familiar with. He gave us the contact information to some of the key players, including music supervisor David Ari Leon. David could be our ace in the hole. According to our source, David served as the supervisor for the entire CD. If anyone were to know about the origins of this thing, it's him. We reached out to several of these contacts. Coincidentally, Larry Kenney, the voice actor behind Count Chocula, accepted my Facebook friend request around this time.
Guys, you want to hear my Han Solo impersonation? Yahoo! Dun, 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 dun. Did I get the Yahoo down?
Yeah. This is in pitch.
Yahoo!
So, I booked us a meeting with Larry Kenney.
Who's Larry Kenney?
Larry Kenney is the guy who, is Count Chocula.
Why are we playing it off like that? That's what we're
What do you
doing?
mean, Ryan?
And no, in all seriousness, are we trying to do
I'm
a
trying
skit?
to do this. It's funny.
Be like, what?
I was...
What? I had no idea.
Ryan.
Evan,
Ryan,
stop.
no,
Oh my
get this,
God.
Get this. I got us an interview with Larry Kenney.
What?
Yeah.
We did that a month ago.
Yeah, we did.
What? Count Choc... I am shocked.
Tell me G meets the Monster Mellows in Count Chocula cereal.
I created something big.
Big marshmallows!
Huge marshmallows. So monstrously huge, they're monster mellows.
Larry Kenney is a legendary voice actor. He's voiced several iconic characters over the years, and apart from Count Chocula, he's played Sonny the Cuckoo Bird from the Cocoa Puffs commercials, and he also played Lion-O in the original Thundercats series. Simply put, you've heard his voice before.
So are you the voice in the Skittles commercials as well?
I have always have been, yeah.
Did not know that.
Feel the rainbow, taste the rainbow.
Whoa, that's awesome. So one of the projects that you worked on as Count Chocula was on the CD 13 Days of Halloween Rhythm and Booze back in 2001. What can you tell us about your involvement with this project?
I don't remember that at all.
Don't remember the project at all.
There was a CD that came in the box of Count Chocula.
Uh-huh.
It may click in my mind. Do you have it there? You can play a little part of it?
Yeah, we got it.
You think that sounds spooky? Just wait. In a moment, you'll be hearing the creepy, haunting, fun sounds of Halloween. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Count Chocula, and I love anything spooky, like Frankenberry, Blueberry, and Count Chocula cereals. The spooky sounds of Halloween are about to begin.
I remember.
You remember that now.
I don't recall. I don't think I ever saw it after we did that. I mean, I don't think I ever saw this actual CD.
Uh-huh.
A lot of this kind of stuff you do, you never see it again. You know, we recorded it, and okay, they're going to do something with it, and that was about it.
Do you have any thoughts or opinions regarding the CD as a whole? And the reason I ask that question is it's a mysterious and kind of strange project that a cereal company puts out a CD for Halloween in 2001, and then they never do anything like that after that.
It seems very strange. That is being me. Believe me, I would tell you if I knew any little secrets or anything. I'm not hiding anything.
Oh no! It adds to the yeah. It's a more tame CD than what we thought. It's still shrouded in mystery, but
now you know how Aldo Rivera felt when he went looking for Al Capone's gold or something.
Yeah, he opened the vault and there's nothing there.
What can I say? I'm sorry. I would thank my buddies here for doing the job. Thank you for watching. I promised all the critics that if we didn't find anything, I'd sing a song. So, Chicago, Chicago, that Holland town. All right, I'm going. I'll see you. Good night. I'm sorry.
I find it very interesting now that you've brought it up, and I don't know if I even knew that much about it when we did it, that there were other going to be singers on it and well-known bands and things like that. I don't think I even was told that, or I would remember that.
You're still voicing Count Chocula today, correct?
Very infrequent. They don't do commercials for him anymore.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, if there are any appearances that we should be on the lookout for Count Chocula.
None that I know of. Occasionally they'll have me do something for their internet. They have General Mills has a interactive website for kids, games to play. And occasionally they'll ask me to come in and do something like, hey, you won the game, congratulations, or, you idiot, you lost the game. But
Nice.
That's about all. They don't do commercials for it anymore.
What is it about Count Chocula in particular? Why didn't anybody ever talk about Booberry or Frankenberry?
Or Fruit Brute.
Fruit Brutes?
No, I think he's obviously the most culturally iconic.
Yeah.
And he's kind of the go-to, and he's the chocolate one.
Right, Count Chocula, the chocolate one. Well, what do you think of when you think of this CD? What images come to mind?
I think obviously, when I think about the CD, I think about our school that we used to go to. I also think about Count Chocula.
I find myself thinking of Lexington.
Yeah, that's
when
true.
I think about that.
Yeah. Because it was all the same time period.
Yeah, it was like that weird 2001 time. You know what I mean? So, where are we going, Ryan?
Right now we're going to the store. Again.
For what purpose?
We need to see if we're getting chalk blocked again.
The next person to contact us back was Wally Wingert, a voice actor featured on track 6 of the CD. He's no stranger to iconic roles either. He's had recurring roles on Bleach, The Garfield Show, Invader Zim, and he was even the announcer on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno for a few years.
It's The Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
So Wally is about to call us.
Wally is about to call.
What insight do you think he'll have?
Maybe some interesting stories about the recording process.
Right, because he was kind of uniquely involved because he has like a musical recording part.
Yeah.
All right.
As you can see, Wally's calling us.
Yep.
Hello?
Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Wally. How's it going?
Hey, good. What's happening?
Oh, not much. For the sake of just with continuity with how we've done interviews before, do you mind just stating your name and your involvement with the project?
Sure. Wally Wingert, voice actor, interviewee.
All right. What was your, just for the sake of like information, what was your specific role on the CD? What were you doing specifically on it?
I was contacted by a guy named Jamie Simone, who at the time, back in the late 90s, was producing a bunch of shows for the ABC Family. And he was doing the Kids from Room 402, I believe was the name of the cartoon.
Uh-huh.
And I had just started getting into voiceover at that point. He said, would you be interested in doing this? And I said, absolutely. So I went over to do a song, and I had no idea what it was even for. I didn't know if it was for the show or if it was what it was for. I was just happened to be there.
Right, sure.
So when it came out that I was going to be actually on the cereal box of my favorite cereals, I love Monsters, I love animation, I love everything about it. I love the cereal.
Uh-huh.
I thought this is a dream come true.
Right.
On a CD on the back of in the front of a cereal box. I bought one of each of those boxes: Blueberry, Count Chocula, Frankenberry, and I have them still in my display case to this very day.
Well, it sounds like this was kind of just like you said before, this is kind of like a project that checked off so many boxes of things that you were interested in.
I know they merchandise those cereals quite a bit. I'm
Right.
staring right now at 3 Blueberry, Frankenberry, Blueberry, and Count Chocula Halloween masks. The plastic Halloween masks.
Yeah.
So I have those, but I also have one of the retro boxes of cereal that they came out with it was a Target exclusive, I believe, a couple of years ago.
Uh-huh.
They did the retro boxes.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, this blueberry is still full of cereal.
Well, now you got dinner for tonight. That's perfect.
The expiration date on this baby. Hold on a second.
Now, other question about the cereals. Which one's your favorite? I have to ask.
I love buying Frankenberry and having that box in my hand.
Yeah.
But after the first couple spoonfuls, I'm like, yeah, it's not really the same. I also love eating blueberry
Uh-huh.
and having the box in my hand, but after the first couple spoonfuls, yeah, it's not really quite the same as it was. But boy, Count Chocula tastes almost exactly the same. And I know a gal named Tina who would do anything, and I do mean anything, for a box of blueberry. So guess who buys cases of blueberry whenever they come out? Oh, Tina. So, anyway, yes, but she loves the blueberry. But I loved initially the Frankenberry. However, he doesn't taste like he used to.
So I guess one more question is just: is there anything shady about the formation of the CD? Any like mob involvement? Anything we should know?
I think that there was probably a serious contingent of individuals that were assembled by Dr. Frankenstein.
Again, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Secrets revealed, Ryan.
Secrets revealed. I didn't know that Frankenstein was behind it.
This cereal is pretty elusive.
It is elusive.
You think we'll ever find it?
I'm praying.
You know what? If traditional 3-act structure has anything to say about it. It's almost like this cereal is a metaphor for answers. It's like we're looking for answers.
And we can't find them.
What do you kind of miss the most about Halloween as a child?
I think the simplicity, like, I like that there's a simple formula. You get dressed up, you get candy for free, and you get to enjoy that afterwards. And I think just the trick-or-treating process is really fun. I think that's something that, like, the simplicity of, like, getting a reward for nothing.
Yeah.
You don't really get that as an adult. You know, you, me, and Mom going out and trick-or-treating, and everything else didn't matter, right? Like, everything else going on, we were kids. Nothing really mattered to us except that. The whole idea of it's a weird, like, school night, yet you get to dress up in a costume and go get free candy with your family. Like, you know, that loses... We kind of don't really get to experience that once you grow up until you have kids again. Like, that's the thing. Like,
sure.
Where all of a sudden, then you can experience that again.
Then, by some stroke of luck, David got back to us. He said he would love to be involved with what we were doing, so we set up an interview. David has worked behind the scenes on many of the shows that we and other people our age grew up with, including several Power Rangers series and even Dragon Ball Z. He was a major player in the creation of Rhythm and Booze, so we were sure he could tell us something.
What did your role with this specific project entail? Like, what were some of the things that you were in charge of, and what were you doing with this project?
So, I was supervising the music for the Fox Family Channel at the time, and there was an on-air promotion that was for Halloween. It was called 13 Days of Halloween, and this CD was part of that 13 Days of Halloween campaign, as I recall.
Now, like, for instance, one of the things I remember seeing in the credits on some of the tracks, the Baha Men were on there. I was just curious, why were they picked?
So at the time, there was a very, very popular song that was the Baha Men. It was, you probably know it.
Yeah.
Who Let the Dog Out.
Yeah.
It was basically just playing on their popularity,
right?
And just getting a big name act that people knew and tied to the project.
Gotcha. You're putting so many things that are kind of relevant at that time together, and it's all things that have no correlation. And so, you know, besides being involved in this project, so we just kind of wanted to dive into that and how it's so interesting that this whole project was put together using the characters and the people that they did. So it's just very curious. We're curious about it.
I was really thrilled to be a part of it. I actually snuck up to show you guys these. I found these. So these are the cereal boxes.
No way.
Count Chocula, and then here's the Boo Berry.
Yeah.
And here's the Frankenberry. You can see the CDs, in
all
there.
Still in there.
All still in there, and so on the back you've got a promotion for Digimon, right?
Yeah.
And as I recall, General Mills did this with something like 5 million cereal boxes. It was a massive campaign. All across the country, people that were buying these cereals at this Halloween time were getting this CD.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was super cool at the time.
Yeah. We remembered, growing up, we listened to that CD a lot, actually. Like around fall time, because my mom had it, and it was one of our pretty vivid childhood memories was listening to that CD a lot every Halloween. So it was
cool.
2 and 3.
Yeah, specifically track 2 and 3 is what Evan said. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. I think it's really cool that you guys are kind of just doing this documentary about this project, and there's probably a lot of people out there that remember this CD and will go, oh wow, this is interesting how this thing evolved.
And then, just like that, we had all of our answers. The CD wasn't some random collaboration of different intellectual properties. It was a simple network tie-in of the shows on the current Fox Family roster. All the other tie-ins were just things that were relevant at the time. We didn't uncover some great conspiracy or explain a 20-year-old mystery. We just knew where the CD came from now. And that was enough. So we took our information back to where this all started. The person who bought the cereal and the CD in the first place.
I met somebody who vaguely remembered it.
Really, the whole origin story of the whole thing is very tame.
That's the fantastic part about it. It's yes, it's like this mundane, the backstory is mundane, but it's so bizarre. And only, how many people you think ever listen to that, over and over and over again? Just the goofiness. The goofiness is that's the best part of raising kids, is the goofy stuff. But adults don't buy into that. Adults think that's over here for the kids. I'm the parent. I don't, so the parents have their own adult humor. No, you got to get goofy with your kids.
It is possible to enjoy this CD as an adult. It is possible to bridge the gap of Halloween fun between
It's
adults and
fantastic.
children.
Adults have to lighten up.
Baha Men will always be connected to
Count Chocula.
Count Chocula.
It's amazing.
So, we got all of our information. We found out how the CD was made, why it exists, who made it. What are you thinking?
It seems like nothing crazy happened.
The answer might not be this riveting thing that we could have expected, but how do you feel knowing that the answer is just, all these things, the answer to what do the Baha Men, Digimon, and Count Chocula have in common is they were all involved with the same network at the same time.
Yeah, and ultimately, I think it's interesting. I think it sheds light on. It's like if you have a time capsule.
Yeah.
The CD is almost like a time capsule. It serves as a reminder of things that were relevant during that time. But it's also more than that. In that, like a time capsule can maybe have some nostalgia value. This CD specifically has that nostalgia value.
I guess just this brings me to kind of the big point of this, which is, why is this CD special to you?
I think this CD is special because it serves as a reminder of a time of our lives that has kind of come and gone, but something that will, maybe we'll always have, you know what I mean?
Right.
We get to be reminded of our childhood with Mom, and the CD kind of served as one of the ways that we got to enjoy that time of year as kids with Mom growing up,
This is like a time when when we were spending as much time together as possible. It was kind of just the three of us, and we had little things like this that we would latch onto that we kind of grew to appreciate together. We all still know these songs by heart. Like, we all still know it's spooky in here till the day we die. It's gonna be there, and this is just the perfect kind of representation of that transitional period in our lives when it was just the three of us, and it was, kind of this. It was a nice little. It was a nice bonding experience with this CD.
Sometimes specific items serve as reminders of specific things, and whether that's a song that you hear that kind of takes you back to a different time, or maybe it's like a toy that you see in a store that you remember when you were growing up. This CD kind of serves as one of those things that kind of teleports you back, reminding like us of what was going on in our lives at that time.
Right.
There's 5 million of these CDs that come out, but yet, there's 5 million of them, but there's that. It still is like it's the one CD that it serves as a very specific memory for us. Yeah. We've shifted from trying to dig deep into something and see where the CD came from, but in actuality, we've almost discovered like the importance of something like this.
Sure.
We've almost, instead of looking for deep meaning in that, in trying to uncover something, we've almost just been reminded of something familiar.
We made this to look back and to be able to appreciate this thing because we love this thing. This thing was so important to us, even though it's so dumb.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it's important to us. On paper, it might not make sense, but that's kind of like the beauty of how people are, right? Like, we can look at something that somebody might see as mundane or just another item or product or whatever, but for other people, that's a window into a time that has passed, or it's a window into a really good memory or something like that. And I think that's kind of what this project has kind of enlightened me and given me some perspective about. Evan, it's been a real treat getting back on the scene with you.
Yeah, it's been real. We got some good answers, and I think this is interesting. But you know what? Happy Halloween, huh?
Happy Halloween.
Now, Ryan, where are we going right now?
I think we've reached our destination with this documentary, and I think it's time that we reach our destination for the goods.
The trail is so full of twists and turns. You tell me to slow down, but I just don't seem to learn. The earth shifts me.
It's time to eat.
I'm glad to be on your team.
Travel's a calling and sleep is rare. There's nothing that's better than knowing that you're there. You can't make a chili with just one bean. I'm glad to be on your team. No jerseys required, no rule book desired. It's us against the world.